This is, I guess, the third video on facing death, and more generally, how I'm spending my time, how I'm trying to spend it, how I'm doing really. So a few months ago, my friend Bicycle Mark asked me if I was sort of jumping up early in the morning, rushing around doing, feeling I have to do all these things I want to do with my remaining time. I may have about a year left, a bit less than that. And I don't remember how I answered him, but that was probably before I had started chemotherapy anyway. So at the moment, a lot of the time, I can't jump up in the morning and do lots of cool stuff because the chemo side effects. Generally, sleeping is a problem. So I try and get up in time to sort of have breakfast with the kids. And then, as I mentioned in the previous video, trying to spend as much time as possible with the kids, but also I want them to be outside as much as possible. And it's difficult for me to be outside a lot because it's cold, and I feel the cold more because of the chemotherapy and because I'm just weak at the moment because of the medicines, I think. So it's kind of tough to take the kids to the park, whatever. So it's weird feeling like, I've got a short time left. Maybe a very short time. I mean, I keep going on about a year left. But, been having some abdominal pains in the last couple of days, and that could be a sign of something very bad. I happen to be meeting a surgeon tomorrow, so I'm going to ask him about it, and seeing the cancer doctor in a couple of days' time. I'll ask him about it too, but yeah, there's no guarantee I'm gonna get a year. Something bad might happen quite soon. Hoping it won't. Hoping the immunotherapy is going to keep me alive for a bit longer. But it's just strange. I've got lots of things I want to do, but day life is in the way. Lots of administrative stuff. For example, so it's a Monday today, and I went to the immunotherapy clinic, and basically going there, spending time there for hypothermia treatment and to talk to the immunotherapist about the immunotherapy I'm going to have, and then having a meal and then coming back. That took most of the day, basically. I spent some time with my kids, spent some time reading to my son, and helped him with some study, but it's basically the day gone. Tomorrow, going to another hospital to see a surgeon who is an expert on the peritoneum, which is where my cancer spread to. Again, going there, this time with the whole family. Waiting maybe up to an hour or whatever to see him. Seeing him for 30 minutes. Hang around to pay, which often takes another 30 minutes. Having a meal, getting home. That hospital's an hour and a bit away. So I've got a couple of hours of travelling time. Whole day gone. Same thing is going to happen in a couple of days' time. when I go and see an oncologist, that's a cancer doctor. I spent out of this week, kind of 3 days of going on hospital stuff, with very little time on those days to do other stuff. There are things like with my son, I want to do more programming. My friend Liz Upton very kindly gave me a book called Game Programming with Python. So just it's now like 11:15. I'm trying to get the environment for this set up on my Mac. Macs are really bad at installing software. I mean, other than like mainstream Mac applications, if you want to install regular Unix software, it's a lot of work to get started, for various technical reasons. So that's going to take a good it's taken about half an hour already just to look for an up-to-date guide for 2016 of how to install the libraries that this book requires, which is called Pygame. And it's going to take like another 30 minutes or something. And tonight, before I go to bed, I have to prepare a list of questions for this surgeon. And I'm feeling quite apprehensive about this meeting. I saw him about a month ago. He didn't really tell me anything new, but he confirmed a lot of stuff I'd learned by myself, and not nice stuff, I'm afraid. So he's one of the 2 experts on this part of the body in Japan. So what he says is pretty close to fact, and unfortunately a lot of the bad stuff he said matched up with things I'd already learned from my personal study of this part of the body and of what happens when you have cancer there. So I've learned a bit more. I'm going to ask him about that. So far from going through a bucket list of all this stuff I want to do before I die, I'm dealing with hospitals, chemotherapy, planning immunotherapy, just regular stuff. It's that's just completely the opposite of how I feel I should be. And I feel I should be really active and lively, making the most of this time I've got left. But end of December, well, it's now mid-December, but getting cold in Japan, the houses here are cold. I've got one warm room of the house, but basically it's the kitchen, so I tend to spend a lot of time sat at the kitchen table, doing stuff for the kids, which is great. At other times I've sat there with a tablet, trying to do some study, keep my brain active. So it's strange. God, I must apologise for not looking at the camera, but the camera is built into the top of the monitor, and I know it must look really weird that my eyes I guess the focal point is around my mouth or something stupid like that. But anyway, so I've got a limited amount of time left, and yet I'm not, in a sense, I'm not making the most of every second, but that really isn't very practical. Normal life doesn't change just when you happen to know you've got short time left. all the daily stuff has to be done. My daughter, who's 3 years old now, is going to be going to kindergarten next April. There's a whole bunch of preparation stuff that has to be done now. That's taking time. She's sick at the moment with a fever, so it's dealing with that. Fortunately, we don't really have Christmas in Japan, so that's kind of lucky. That's not a huge time sink. Decided not to send out Christmas cards or anything like that this year, for hopefully obvious reasons. I hate Christmas, and also it's difficult to do that kind of stuff. Yeah, so sorry about that. No Christmas cards. I've been reflecting a bit on the life I have had, and I don't feel I have many massive regrets, which is kind of good. I think basically I can argue that whatever decisions I made at the time, based on the information I had available, I did my best. Obviously loads of things I wish I had done. The only genuine regret, I guess, is that when I was, 10, 11, 12, something like that, I didn't realise the importance of computers and kind of what a big deal they would be in the future. Been thinking about that a lot over the past few days, because been thinking a lot about how to teach my son about computing, and the computer revolution hasn't happened yet. It really, really hasn't. We're still kind of in the prequel to the real computer age, and I didn't really get that it was going to be such a big thing, and that computers would be such an important part of our lives, and would eventually become our lives. And I think if I had understood that, I don't know, I think things would be different. But I guess very few people did. I mean, still, the vast majority of people in computing don't get it at the moment. The vast majority of people alive don't get it at the moment. That computers, have such potential, and we're not using a fraction of 1%. But I can argue that on the information available at the time, and the fact that most people don't even get it now. Only a handful of people really see it. So, the paradox, I guess, of having a short life expectancy, having all this stuff you want to do, loads of people I'd like to get to know better, loads of places I'd love to go to, particularly places I'd love to take my family. Not going to happen, or very, very unlikely to happen. But I'm still enjoying life, what I've got left. Thanks a lot for listening. More videos coming soon, and please go to my fundraising page, matthewdons.org. Thanks a lot.